Hello, everyone. Welcome to Disability in Fiction. We're going to start a bit earlier than expected because we have quite a nice number here already. It's wonderful to see everyone. I'm just going to do our usual sort of intro to this. I forgot to share my screen. I knew I forgot something. Quickly share my screen on Discord. But I want to tell you a bit about what this workshop is about. This is a fortnightly workshop, weekly workshop. One of two workshops that alternate between weeks. I'll try and say it that way. And essentially, we exist to help stop misinformation around disability, which is one of the most misunderstood minorities in the media. And it's also one of the biggest minorities in the world. But misinformation can lead to real world stereotypes and discrimination. People of any age, race, religion, gender, or socioeconomic background can be disabled, and that's not shown in the media, and we want to really help to change that. We ask that you're respectful to everyone. Obviously, I feel like I shouldn't need to say that, but we have all sorts of questions are welcome, and so some of them might be a bit sensitive. So just as long as they're asked in a respectful way, we'll allow it. I am very open to being asked questions about disability, like the nitty-gritties, all the medical stuff, all the gory stuff. Whatever you want to know, I will try and tell you. I will try and answer. And we have other disabled people here who I'm sure would also be happy to answer questions. I think that most of us at the moment have some form of disability, and so if we don't have any feedback, or if no one wants any feedback, the disabled people could just talk amongst themselves about their shared experiences, because you never know, that might actually give someone the inspiration or give someone ideas. For the purposes of this workshop, there are 5 types of disabilities. A lot of people will just think of physical disabilities, but there's also intellectual, sensory, hinder disabilities, and we also include mental health, and all types of those are equally welcome. As I was saying earlier, this is one of 2 workshops that run on alternate weeks. Disability in Fiction, which is this one, is about novel writing, although we also welcome all other types of media, including comics we've looked at in the past. We have, next week we'll be looking at screenwriting, so that's our disability in screenwriting workshop in WordCamp. I'll send the link a little later on. We welcome disabled and able-bodied people alike, and we want to help you to write better disabled characters. This is every other Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. British time. And we look at disabled characters in your story, sharing disabled experiences to help make characters more realistic, reviewing disabled characters in existing media, and performing sensitivity readings. And next week is much the same thing, except for screenplays, and we look at disabled characters in TV and film. Don't forget that we have the disability feedback channel. You should all be able to see it, hopefully. And that's just where we can post things that we want feedback on throughout the week. We also post weekly prompts. So there's one on WordCamp and one on WordCamp. And the winner will be given 5 coins. And all other participants will receive 2 coins. So you are, that's your incentive for participating. I don't think we had any submissions this week, which is a shame. If anyone, we might do a prompt later today, and so we'll look at that. Finally, this is our disclaimer. This is a safe space for us to talk about all aspects of disability, which means that we are open to discussing sensitive and potentially triggering topics, including mental health, addiction, trauma, and abuse. You are welcome to leave at any point if things get too heavy for you. because your mental health and emotional well-being always take priority over your attendance. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's open up the floor and see if anyone would like any help with anything that they're writing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Cool. Does anyone want to comment on that?
She is blind, but that's not the thing that anybody dwells on. They dwell mostly on the fact that she's impulsive and much kind of hold my beer type of person.
And love that. Love that.
She's actually based off of a friend of mine who is very much like that, and she exactly has the same disability, and nothing is stopping her.
That's cool.
Sounds good. Is there anything specifically that we can help you with, maybe?
I don't know. I'm just at this point I am figuring out her manner of speaking, because basically they each narrate a part of their story, and with her it's kind of fine. I went from this intellectual over explainer to cold hard facts, go do the thing, and kind of sweary, but still. Like I like developing her as a character, but if I do need help with someone, it would be the next chapter, but that doesn't have anything to do with disability. He's just kind of a personality that I have not yet gotten my brain into to correctly role play, for lack of a better word.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm trying to remember your story. Because you have...
I'm gonna really quickly save it because I have it opened and I can send it to you.
Cool.
Ooh, can we do a reading? Ooh.
It is about 5 pages. I don't know if we have time for that.
I think we do. Because it doesn't seem like we have many. Yeah. We'll read it, and if we run out of time, That's fine. I've got all the. I can be here for hours. I don't care.
All right.
You will struggle to stop me talking about disability.
I'd be interested in seeing your work.
You'd struggle to stop me talking, period. But okay, where are we?
I made some notes about your story, so I'm going to quickly do some, like, read my notes out loud in case anyone has forgotten the story. So this is the fantasy world. We have two disabled, three disabled characters. So we have Naveen, who is, I assume, the narrator of the first chapter, and they are autistic. I don't know pronouns. I'm scared of.
Naveen is he, him. Ro is she, her. Win is also he, him. Eden is she, her, and the Will-O-Wisp is they, them for the time being.
Cool. When is he, him? Did you say?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So, we have the narrator Naveen, who is autistic. Naveen. So Eden is great because he's like got all of the character. Yeah. Like a lot of thought has gone into the names. So Naveen is Hebrew for prophet, which is kind of cool because then the narrator. Ro is blind in one eye from birth, and she can talk to crows. Inspired by Odin. Eden is a green-eyed fae who protects children. And she takes care of the children of. Huh? I don't understand what she takes care of the children of fake children who have developed powers. I'm not sure I meant to say that.
She takes care of children who have been swapped. You know, like what's it called? I knew the word.
Doppelgangers.
No. Like when you that old fairy tale. Don't put your child by the window because a fae will swap it for a fae child.
Oh, a fae child.
They're basically like cuckoo children being put into the crib instead of the OG child, and they will resemble the OG child, but they will develop abilities because they are intrinsically fae.
Right. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I probably have another character whose name I don't have, who lost their arm and it was ripped off.
That was Win.
Oh, that's Win. Okay. Oh, yeah. And Naveen, who's autistic, that's holding the prosthetic arm, right?
Win. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry, but my brain took a moment to process the words that came out of your mouth.
No worries. Cool. Okay, and you sent. I didn't see you send it. Right, no.
I sent it into the
chat.
Chat, yeah.
Cool. Let's take a look.
And I'm going to probably open it on my end as well.
Yeah, and I will share my screen in a minute. When it actually opens. Cool. Right, then hopefully you can all see the screen. Zoom in a bit. Do we have any volunteers to read this?
Honestly would, but at this point I have too many butterflies.
All right.
That's it. Thanks, Dan.
Ready?
Yep, we're doing whatever you are.
My name is Naveen. I invite you now, dear reader, to humor me in my extreme boredom and listen to how I found myself in this situation. See, I'm locked in a basement. Say it looks like a wine cellar. I don't drink myself, and there aren't any barrels or bottles to support my theory. I still have a creepy feeling one would not build such a place, devoid of windows and with a single wooden door up atop a slim, steep stairwell, if not to store alcohol that, I hear, is rather sensitive to daylight and changes in temperature. My prison is large, cold, and I'm slowly realizing I might starve if my captor doesn't feed me. I digress. You must excuse me, dear reader. I do that a lot. Where was I? I mean, in my story. I know I'm in a basement. Firstly, I must inform you that what you are about to read is as real can be, considering it is an account of things. We are, after all, flawed beings, and our memory is often shrouded in a cloud of judgment, romanticizing any number of emotions we may feel towards any given part of our life. That or a story we have heard once in our past lives. I promise not to lie, but know that I too have feelings. What you need to know first is hard facts. I can hear you groaning now. What is this, a textbook? Mayhaps. And I may be a teacher, a lecturer here to grab your attention and hold it by the neck until the end. Magic is real. Do I have you now? All right, let's begin. As all good stories start at the beginning. Long, long ago. You might have heard stories of so-called changelings. Back in the olden days, they had been a common occurrence, as was a lot of other magic. Funny how every culture seems to have its own variation of these children stolen from cribs and substituted by some sort of otherworldly child. There was once a mother troll who had her child swapped for a human baby, and she went out of her way to find it. I was told she and the other woman became friends. My own mother told me so. I have no reason not to believe her, since she was there. But Naveen, I hear you cry. How? You are here in the ripe 21st century, and what you spoke about must have been the Middle Ages, if not Dark Ages. A very good observation. I, in fact, have a stepmother. Not at all the wicked kind. She's caring and very, very patient with all of us. Oh, did I mention I have siblings? Yeah, I have several. Enough to lose track of as of now. There are 5 of us. I will get to that all in good time. From the beginning, there was magic, and there were people who understood that it's not something to be messed around with. The fair folk, as they are called, were and are they are not a race. Imagine the animal kingdom and all the species that this entails. That is the fair folk. There are very many of them, and I will not bore you with how many, because new ones are popping up pretty much as we speak. My mother, siblings, and I are all part of them in a matter of speaking, but the world has forgotten all of that. Humans don't believe in magic much these days because we have science to prove how bogus all of that is. Humor me in a thought experiment. Quantum physics, right? Oh, stop. I have a point. In one theory, it is said that observation changes the outcome. In the famous cat in the box experiment, only until the box is open can we say that the cat is in a quantum state of being both dead and alive. And that is a hard concept to wrap your head around. In the same vein, magic will only work for the ones who truly believe it. Did I just say magic and quantum physics are the same? Might have. Take me, for example. My power is said to be the simplest to explain by means of your science. I can see the future, according to very smart people who are determined to prove the non-existence of magic. I'm just very good at unconsciously calculating probability. And I have to say that it is a fair assumption. But as any good and self-respecting scientist will tell you, proving that something is not there is much easier than proving that it is there. For it is our human nature to look but not see. I invite you to see, and I promise to show you all of it. Nothing like starting your morning with the sound of intruder alert chirping like a sparrow, a very loud and obnoxious sparrow. I understand the need for precaution, and I wholeheartedly support an alarm system at a facility such as Highland Inc. We are not on any map, not really. If you were to seek us out, well, don't. Let me just say, nobody gets in without an invitation, and for that to happen, you need to... Oh, right, the alarm. Yes, I agree. Whoever triggered it probably does not have an invitation and will very soon find out what happens to uninvited guests. I personally don't see conflict, so I opted to just stand by the door to the entrance hall and peek in. Honestly, had Eden known I was doing that, she would probably fireball. No, what is this? It seemed like a tiny ball of light missing my ear at a high speed and laughing hysterically. This morning promises to be anything but dull. I hear my mother shout, "You absolute lunatic, when I get my hands on you!" And at that point, her large form pretty much trampled me. I must have hit my head because I suddenly saw a whole lot of small flickering lights dancing in the glass tube. Eden can hit like a bus when she's riled up. And ever since the incident, her fuse has gotten even shorter. Honestly, I wonder how she functions, because since then, she has been two different people. One is the short-tempered mother, hen that will end anything and everything threatening her flock or die trying, and the other? Naveen, baby, I felt her soft lips on my forehead. I'm so sorry, love, sweetheart. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Sitting by my side was a woman much smaller than me, her irises going through a rainbow of colors like a rotation dial. I mean, sure, I did hit my head and my ears rang a bit, but I was still conscious. It was nothing major, but that didn't stop her from seeming concerned. As my vision settled, when I adjusted my glasses, I saw that the lights were from a large cylindrical container in the main hall. Yes, it was there. It had been there for a while now. They are nanobots, suspended in a vacuum, like a lava lamp of sorts. The main hall was the same as I had remembered it. The entrance gate with two large pillars adorned with ancient writings juxtaposed by machinery that would not be out of place in a high-end sci-fi. The whole room is more machine than anything else. The control panel, the gateway, the sheer number of wires and other things are just buzzing with electricity. Eden hates it, but it's a necessary evil. At least she has now folded enough to learn how to operate it on her own. Somewhat. Let me just say nothing has spontaneously combusted in a while. And so I spoke too soon. Remember our little spitfire of an intruder? Well, apparently they set something ablaze. That's when Eden immediately switched to motherhead mode, while I was left to pick my own self off the ground and follow the smell of smoke and small-scale destruction the sentient shining light left in its wake. I had no visual on the situation, but based on the colorful language I could very clearly hear, I would gather that the ball of light was having fun and Eden was about to commit heinous acts of violence. It didn't take her long to capture the little thing, and in about an hour, she was scringing it on a mason jar while whispering incantations. Then she superglued it on a shelf. Better safe than sorry, I guess. Magic is powerful. We all know that. Technology is handy and smart. That much is true. But superglue is superglue. You will stay put, Eden said and wagged a finger at the little light, now angrily slamming against the wall of her jar. Now I got a closer look. I could see that it was a little tiny person with very distinct green eyes, who was made of small silver light. Are they of your kind? I asked Eden. She once told me, us the green-eyed ones protect children. Before Eden could answer, the light spoke in a high-pitched squeak. Yes, I am of the especially fun kind. Let me out of this jar and I will show you. You will do no such thing, Eden snapped angrily. She then turned her attention to me and said, They are Spunkick, a will-o-wisp. They aren't malicious, but they can be dangerous on account of being very reckless. She glared at the light, asking, Why did you decide to enter my home? Who invited you? How did you find me? Us? The little light let out a heavy sigh and looked sad. Then, with a hint of melancholy in their voice, said, Oh, how fast we forget when we are young and unafraid. You're rest, Puka. Eden blinked. Her eyes went from very sky blue to a stunning shade of purple and ending in reddish orange. It was a sign to step back. You, she whispered, her eyes ablaze. It is I, said the light. Giddy jumping up and down in the glass person. Now let me out. I promise I'll be good, for goodness. Eden spun her heel and marched out of the storage room like a general about to storm Rome itself. That was the end of that conversation. She didn't even need to grab me. I know her well enough to determine that now I just follow quietly. Fae don't talk unless they want to, and she was not about to explain what, when, how, or why. Not at this moment of time. And I had pressed the matter, and had I pressed the matter, I would never find out. And I needed to find out because this was enticing. Eden, our Eden, has a past. Well, we all have a past, but this sounded like she had one she is not particularly fond of. Intriguing. None of us know how old Eden is. We never asked, and I doubt she would or even could give us an answer. We decided to make it a guessing game, even if we will never find out who is right. She mentioned the Dark Ages. She said she liked to roam the fields before the roads and factories made them scarce. She even told us of a young prince she befriended who would play with her. I had to update Ro and Win on the situation during breakfast, and they both agreed there is something Eden is not telling us. It's entirely true that they can't lie, but they can and will mystify or hold the truth back altogether. So, what if we ask the light about it? Wynn suggested, his delightfully sing-song Louisiana accent. You said it seemed chatty? His strikingly curly hair wasn't tamed this morning, and he reminded me a bit of icons of saints with halos round their head. If said saint had been roughly 7 feet tall, 5 feet wide across the shoulders, and brown like pyrope. His brown skin contrasted with the bluish-silvery metal right arm. I like holding it. It is surprisingly warm and soft since it's made from nanobots rather than actual metal. They did seem chatty. Just how much of what a spunky says can be trusted? Trusted him. I shook my head to stop thinking about it. Eden will be careful after that. I doubt she even fully trusts us now. Naveen, stop stroking him like you want to fuck him, said Ro, snapping me out of my trance. She never seemed to eat. I don't think I ever saw her do it with my own eyes. Currently, she was looking at herself in a small mirror, adjusting her makeup. Not that it was needed. She always looked on point, and today was no different. Her raven hair shortened, straightened, and long, flowing down to her waist. Her ivory skin matched with the perfect shades of makeup I cannot even name, and her blue eyes sparkled with excitement. Oh no. We need to sneak into the storage room and... Ro was interrupted by Wynn, who just started to say the word no repeatedly. Every time Ro took a breath to speak, he kept going. This took several minutes. You know, I may be the youngest of the three of us, but they certainly take their immaturity cake. Why not? You didn't even let me finish. Ro conceded in her own way. Wynn rubbed his temple. Firstly, sneaking into the storage is a bad plan. Secondly, Eden is going to rip all of us a new one. Thirdly, and most important, we only know that there is a spunky in a jar. Literally know nothing else. Ro's good eye settled on me, and it was at that moment I should have left the conversation of subsequently the building to start a new life as a researcher in Antarctica. But we wouldn't have a story if I did that, now would we? I have known Ro all my life. We grew up together, and she didn't have to ask me anything. All it took was that one look. Spunky, also known as a will-o-wisp, I began reciting, are creatures of the fair folk, common and bountiful in bogs. They often take the form of a small ball of light to lure weary travelers to their untimely death in the murky waters. Never outrightly malicious, tend to be helpful at times, especially to children. In the hierarchy of the Fae, they are low-ranking. See, Wynn reacted before Ro could get a word in, I do not want to drown in a bog. That's like the one thing Mama told me never to do. She also told you to pray to Jesus. How'd that go for you? Ro asked in a snarky tone. Listen, if we have an opportunity to dig up something Eden is keeping from us, I'll fail to see how that'd do us any good, Wynn said what I was thinking. How's about we leave it alone and maybe ask Eden? Nicely? Ro made a face, as if the whole universe suddenly and collectively sighed in condescension. Buddy, brah, has she ever answered any of those questions? I had to agree she was right. Eden never gave straight answers, and I could see Wynn silently agreeing with me. But neither of us got to speak because Ro was already on the feet, marching towards the storage room like a Roman soldier, bent on destruction. If there's anything I hate, nay, despise with all my being, it's not no.
I'm going to pause you there. Thank you, Dan, very much for reading. This is a different character now, narrating, isn't it, Eden?
Yes.
Yeah. Should we get a different voice actor, if anyone is willing?
Looks like it's only one more page.
It
Yeah.
is.
I just thought it'd be cool if it was a different voice. But yeah, if you want to do it, that's cool.
If it's one page, I'll give it a go.
Sure, Willow, thank you.
If there's anything I hate, nay, despise with all of my being, it's not knowing. And Eden has kept one secret too many. She can sweet talk Naveen because he is gullible. Wynn just refuses to ask questions out of venturing a guess here, fear that the truth might bite him or some such bull. Not me. No, sir. I get shit done. These and so many more thoughts went through my head as I made my way to the storage room, hopefully followed by the two mama's boys. It's not that I don't like them. I love them both dearly. But this is a job for a doer, not a thinker, and an overthinker. You can guess who is who. The storage is locked, I heard. Sorry. The storage is locked, I heard Naveen cry out, possibly catching up to me. As if a locked door has ever been a problem for me. I snapped my fingers to create a portal. Circular, big enough to go through, and leading, hopefully, straight to the spunky jar. I also kept it open for the bozos to follow. If misery loves company, mischief does so twice as much. Not to mention this way we all get in trouble, if and when we get caught. Now, how does one go about finding a specific jar in a room that is filled floor to ceiling with vessels of various and to add insult to injury, she enchanted the lid. I'm about to way to do my job for me, stupid. I thought as I followed the screams of unjust imprisonment, demands of various things from a lawyer to a cookie and other nonsensical wails to the source. The spunky in a jar. And when I'm done with that, I will take the intestines I ripped out and, "Hi!" they said as soon as they saw me. "Fair maiden blessed with heavenly bosom, pray release me from this predicament." That was, I blinked and had to take a moment to process what they just said. I can't release you. Not now, anyway. I can't do that kind of magic. What is your name? Why don't you tell me? Now, for those unaware, you never tell the Fae your real name. That is dealing with Fae 101. Subsection, don't be a moron.
Wonderful. End of extract. Thank you very much, Willow, and thank you, Dan, for reading. Yeah, who wants to give feedback to Eden?
Making me want to read more. If this is not going to be a full novel, I am going to be very upset, not going to lie. I mean that in the best way possible. Like, it's absolutely great. Like, I don't quite understand yet what's going on completely. It's making me want to find out.
Yeah, I tend to set up a lot of things. But
It's a lot going on, I'll be honest, but I like it. I really do.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Julia. Yeah, going off what Julia said, I agree. There's a lot of characters, and right now, not a lot of connection to them. I think it might be better if you sort of had a couple fewer characters and really help us spend more time with them to better help us connect to them. And
Jump in there for a little bit, Joel.
yeah, sure.
So are you trying to do like one character per chapter kind of thing? Is that what you're?
At this
Cool.
point, yes.
I don't know why, but I think like when we had Naveen, I felt like that was like not enough to kind of understand who he is, if that makes sense. Like I didn't quite like. I guess it's also me not really understanding what the story is, kind of. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is that if we're changing which character we're spending time with each chapter, we're going to want to spend more time with each of them, at least at the very beginning, in order to, really help us to learn who they are as a person, to sort of learn their goals and motivations and their personality, particularly since we aren't explicitly told whose chapter each of them are. You're going to have to make them all distinct enough so that, we can read a couple sentences and immediately go, right, this is that character, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it.
Cool. Thanks for submitting. I did enjoy it. Yeah. Anyone else got feedback for Eden?
Sure, I'll give back. I am really jealous of your prose. I am jealous of the way that you write. My writing is very simple, and elementary, childish, maybe even, but yours sounds very poetic and it flows beautifully. Like it's not overly flowery or any kind of problematic kind of thing. It just flows so well. And I hate you for it because it's really, really good.
Like me.
Now, one thing is there is a lot of telling and very little showing.
I mean, it's the very beginning. I need some exposition, I guess.
And I feel like that exposition is given in an interesting voice. I love the voice of it. But it's honestly so much that a bit overwhelmed by it versus taking it like little bit by little bit and seeing just like kind of starting with a pinhole of being able to see the world and then slowly expanding it out little by little through the character's eyes. So it is a bit too much on the telling, and it is a lot of it's very vague. Like we don't have a lot of substance of this world, or we don't have a really good grounding of this world, of what this world looks like, what is magic and what isn't.
I was going for the vibe of that one statement that says magic is just science we don't yet understand. So basically everything is magic and everything is science, and it's all interwoven.
That is a wonderful statement, and that's a great thing to base it on. So I struggling, no, quite.
Also, the world building aspect is the reason I started with Naveen, because Naveen is wordy and an explainer. So basically, he takes over, like taking the reader into the world, and as it switches to Ro, she is more action based.
Definitely got that. Definitely got that. Yes. Are all of them going to
No, just the main three.
Main three? So Ro, Win,
and Naveen, yes.
going to-
Possibly, maybe there might be like a slight insert by Eden at times, but I don't know if I can do that feasibly and not spoil everything.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'll start with the first thing, and I will be completely honest. One of my issues is with reading and reading comprehension and my attention. So I forget things very quickly as soon as I read them. Near instantaneously, read the same sentence 10 times over, and still not remember it. Setting up, all of these people are living in the same house. Are they all roommates? Are they family? Exactly. Like, we got to the scene, I think, between Naveen and Eden, talking about when Eden catches the spunky, and then there were characters that I didn't realize that were there. I thought it was just the two of them alone.
It was the two of them alone, and then it switched to breakfast with the other two. I don't know if it might have not come off as well as I planned it, but it was like a scene switch.
Yeah, I think that was too subtle. It did throw me as well.
Yeah, there was no like now there's a scene switch. That makes sense. There's no transition.
Okay, so establish that better. Okay, noted.
So for me, personally, the strongest and best scenes were when they were interacting with the spunky. Those times, that's where the world started to become clear. This manipulative thing in a jar, trapped in a jar. And seeing Ro using the portal energy, that is where I started grounding myself in the world and understanding the world. I think those kind of things were the strongest moments that really stood out.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Oh. But all right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And I hate that your prose is so good. It's just the flow of it. Just it's like a has a rhythm or a song, like a melody to it. I don't know.
It's also a lot to do with the person reading it, because I feel like when I hear it read back, it has a lot more character, and I can like pick up on these subtle mistakes that I've made, or maybe bigger mistakes, and I really like it that I can hear it like from a third party, so to speak. So I can distance myself from the whole thing and see, like, yeah, I did that wrong. That does not flow well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the good things about like table reads and stuff like that. It's really helpful to just hear how it sounds, and yeah, as you say, stop being the writer and just listening in can be really helpful. Yeah. And actually, if you like read something from scratch, you can like almost wipe your memory and just be like, okay, so this is all the information I've been given. Oh, I need to get more of what was in my head onto the page and that sort of thing.
Yes, and I
because
also
you-
noticed
you
that
can-
I used
you-
one and the same thing twice with the
Yeah.
Roman soldier thing.
Yeah, and also where you're like the characterization and the I don't know, like with the speech pattern and things like that, you can hear it a lot clearer in your head because they've got different accents and things like that. But when you read it without that knowledge, it's like, oh, okay, they're not actually as distinct as I thought they were. So just stuff like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Dan, do you have any feedback?
I do. Yes, my thoughts were more that the character is kind of talking a little, as expositing a little much. And now I come more from the screenwriting side of things and not so much from novel writing. So if I'm wrong, you can take whatever I'm saying with a grain of salt. But that's just my thoughts on the matter. So I guess getting more like less talking about the buildup of the world and maybe just more jumping right into the part where the building is attacked. I mean, setting up with her being like, "Oh no, I'm in this cellar." That's cool. That's interesting. That's a strong setup right there. But I feel like all the extra bits. Now, maybe I'm just not much of a novel reader, but that felt like it was like taking a little much time. You could have said a lot more with less words, in other words.
Thank you. Like I said, that's kind of my point because Naveen is the wordy one.
I understand that. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, but I don't know exactly if it's a problem. It probably fits the character quite well. But I don't know. Maybe I could be very wrong about this, but that's just my thoughts on the matter. It's good. It's well written, and it really picks up once the characters are at that point. But before that point, I don't know. It feels like the first page could have been. I get it's that it's a first-person narrative, but I could be wrong. That's just my thoughts, though.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I really like that bit because I think it maybe I don't like the way it was done. There's something I would change. I'm not sure what, but I like it because it shows us the character, and in novel writing, and when it's first person as well. You know, it is very different to screenwriting. But yeah, I think that some bits of it could be removed and then add in, yeah, as we said, more world building and really setting the scene would be really nice. Welcome, Karma. Do you have any feedback? I'm not sure if you were here for a whole reading, but do you have any feedback for Eden?
Oh, hello everyone. My name's Abby. I'm new to this. Not new to fiction, but I am new to this group. I am not. I want to be really respectful. And I don't have any comments yet, but I promise when I have an opinion about something, you guys will hear about it. So,
Don't
but yeah.
hesitate to be harsh.
I'm sorry.
I said, don't hesitate to be harsh. I can take criticism.
I mean, I really, coming from a metaphysical background myself, I know what you're talking about. And it's interesting that you're covering that subject matter because that's like near and dear to my heart. I find it really interesting what you're doing. I love your prose, but I'm finding that the constant narration is taking me out of that world a little bit. It's making me kind of want to like, I want to get to the meat, the action of the story. I want to get into the characters' heads. I want to feel what they're going through. I want to empathize with them. And I feel that maybe the narration is kind of taking you away a little bit from that. That at least the lengthy narration, not all the narration. Do you know what I'm saying? A little
Yeah.
bit. I'm trying to be really. I'm not trying to be mean. I want to. One of my favorite things about reading fiction is living vicariously through the characters. I love it. I live for it. And I'm not getting the connection with these characters. I'm not getting in their heads. I'm not feeling their energy as much. I'm not experiencing their experience. I feel like I'm being taken out of it with beautiful poetry prose. You see what I'm saying? It's like a different kind of feels than what I'm normally used to. I'm not saying that it isn't beautiful writing, because it is. I'm just saying for bringing me into this world and to live through these characters, I'm not getting into it as much as I normally would have, because the narration continuing like that is distracting me from getting in their heads, getting in their mental and emotional bodies and feeling what they're going through. Does that make sense?
It does, and in this case, in the case of Naveen, like I said, it's kind of deliberate because Naveen is very autistic, and being that myself, I know that I go on lengthy tangents and people will just roll their eyes at me. And sometimes they will tell me to shut up, and sometimes they will just sit there and listen and then just, go somewhere else in their heads while Lucy finishes her tangent once again. So basically, that is the character. He's supposed to be like this.
Okay. Maybe if you have and I have to let you know this. I am extremely dyslexic, and I am attempting to get back into writing with I have like horrible punctuation and sentence structure, but I have been reading fiction and watching fiction for evers. And so you have to understand that my critique is not going to be as technical, but more from kind of an emotional connection to the story and to the characters. I just want to say that right away. And I can understand that you're really wanting us to feel this character, and that's his disability, that he kind of gets caught up in his own head, and that he kind of just kind of almost kind of forgets that other people are there and trying to express his point of view. But can you bring in some more of the emotionality of it so we can really feel what he's going through too? Maybe more some emotional descriptives, perhaps? Maybe that might be a good idea.
Sure.
But I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not, do not
No,
want to
no,
discourage
that's
or
all
attack. I
constructive.
think what you did is very beautiful.
Thank you.
That's all I got for now.
Cool. Thank you very much, Karma. And you're welcome to join us anytime.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone have any? Let's open the floor again.
Actually, I kind of want to so I get what you're going for with Naveen and his wordiness, and I think that's a good thing. I don't know if that's the best thing to start with, because you have to hook the reader into the story first. But one thing about his wordiness is it's hard to tell which is exposition and which is him just going off on a tangent. Basically, it's hard to tell which is done purposefully and which is where the, like, I think something that might help is an idea, and I think you may have done it once or twice, but needs to be more. Where he starts with the subject and then like connects the dot. Back to this. I was talking about this, and then he slips into another tangent, and oh, I did it again. Oops, no, I stay on topic. Okay, back to this. Like if we were to keep like
Give him more character in the tangents, basically.
kind of like we want to know about the basement. He's trapped in the basement. And at this point, because we don't have any grounding of the world, we don't know if this is a physical basement or a metaphysical basement. Part of me was thinking that he was trapped inside his head. And
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
it could be a metaphysical thing, not a physical door lock. And so if he is trying to tell this story about or he's trying to that's exactly what he is. He's a storyteller. He feels like a storyteller versus a character. He feels like a narrator. But what we, the audience, want to know about this basement, about this being trapped in the basement, and how is he going to get out? Is like he held prisoner? What? That's what we, the reader, are hooked onto. And so his mind keeps wandering off to like mother and siblings. It's like, oh wait, no, back to the basement, right back. So the basement grounds us into the world. That is what the audience wants to know about, because that's what you've set up. But his mind keeps wandering around. So I think making it more purposeful and more obvious that he is struggling to keep his mind focused might be able to help, and to show both his character, and you can sneak in little tidbits of exposition, but stay focused on the basement and leading up to the basement.
Right.
So does that make sense?
It does, yeah. And I feel like I see that I have made a mistake, because you've interpreted something a little bit differently than I initially intended it to be interpreted, which thank you for that. I will adjust accordingly, but I feel like that the opening prologue, basically, that is happening in the basement is removed from the chapter 1. Like it starts off, if that whole thing was not there, he's basically at the start of chapter 1, he's not in the basement. He is technically, because he's telling the story to pass his time, but it's like that one opening shot of a movie, you know, where the character is falling off of a building. I'm reminded of Megamind. You know, like he's falling down and these buildings are just whooshing around him, and it's like, yeah, you might be wondering how I got into this predicament. And then it starts from his actual birth and how he got, you know, to Earth and that kind of stuff. You're supposed to kind of forget that he's in the basement until it comes back up.
Right. And I think that is a great example. And I could tell that is where you were going with that. Or I figured as much. And that I personally think is fine. It's like, ooh, okay. But we went from basically being in a physical place, the basement. We then kind of went into a metaphysical place kind of thing of world building and relationships and personalities. So we had nothing to ground us back into the world. So, like you said in Megamind, we start with the falling death, but then we are regrounded again into infancy. That is a point in time that we can understand and relate to. A baby and his planet is falling apart and his parents are sending him away. That is how you can reground with another incident. This is where I am. Now let's talk about how we got there. We need something physical. We need like I'll be honest, I mentioned I struggle with reading.
Mhm.
I forget seeing where the spunky like entered the house before Eden caught it. Like it wasn't until she caught it that I really we're doing this. I don't quite recall where it came from before she caught it. And that is just my attention. I could very well be in there and it could be a great portion, but my mind was wandering. And so I missed the part where the spunky entered into the picture.
That was basically the establishing shot of chapter 1 with the alarm blaring, and you as the reader actually don't know where the spunky came from.
Okay.
There like it's frustrating right now because I see it all in my head and I could take you through it, but we would be here until the day after tomorrow and I still won't be done talking.
Okay. Well, I think you've got a lot to think about.
Yeah. I have a lot to convey and I need to do draft number 74, but as they say, you can't edit a blank page. So at least I got this.
That is true. And dang, you have some beautiful writing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Willow. And thank you very much, Eden, for submitting. Let's open up the floor again to anyone who has any work that they want feedback on. It might be prose, it might be comics, it might be audio, something. Feel free to share.
I don't really have I don't know if I've got problems or not. I think I'm okay. But anyway, I've started rewriting. No, this is probably the 4th time that I've restarted one of my Centaur episodes. And it's really hard just finding the spot to to narrow down. Okay, so I can't. I'm thinking. Um. I don't have much. I wonder if it would be helpful to read what I do have.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. You're welcome to post it in the chat and we can take a look at it.
All right, it's a little bit more than one page.
Cool.
Because I want to change the mood or tone or no, I'm hitting wrong buttons.
Let me see if I can get up my notes. I try to make notes on everyone's projects, mostly because my brain is indifferently a mess. That's not what I mean. But yeah, that proves my point. My brain is a mess. So this is your center. This is with Randall, isn't it?
It's not that scene. This is
Okay.
actually the
Where's that project?
start before they have met. This is introduction into the world.
Cool.
Dang, that's what I'm trying to write.
And what's your series called?
The Moore Park Herd. Here, I'll put it in chat. Moore Park Herd.
Ballpark. Good. Okay. I won't read my notes because they are even messier than my brain somehow.
Yeah, well, sorry, not I lose my my train of thought so easily.
So do I. You're okay.
You're doing great.
I do, Joel, that if you are keeping notes about stuff, my writing and my work switches and changes as quickly as my thought process. And
Oh,
it can
don't
be
worry,
quite
mine does too. The pilot I'm writing where there's a train crash, it started off as basically being a copy and paste of Power Rangers. So take from that what you will.
definitely change and add your own spin. It's cool.
Where's my phone gone? Helps if I show the right thing. Share my screen, that also helps. Alrighty, beautiful. Do we have any volunteers to read this?
It's just the one page. It might be like one and a little bit page.
I have 6 pages.
Yeah, no, not
the
just the first bit. There's like, then it gets to a blank spot.
Okay. Alright, cool. 1 and a bit pages, anyone? I'll read it, because why not?
Okay.
I turn the page of a biography I'm reading, too engrossed to hear my twin yelling at me. Charlita! Like walking from a dream, it takes my mind a moment to reorient itself. I'm still harnessed to the walking wheel, mindlessly going round and round in circles to move a rope along the pulley system. Not as boring as it sounds, especially when I have a good book to read while I walk. Right now, we're using a pulley system to bring buckets of fruit to the storage from the orchard below. You keep walking too fast, Tilly grumbles. Pangs of guilt hit. Several buckets had swung off a rope. Now the mucilers, probably said that wrong, were scattered across the ground, their pink rinds bruised and unsellable. Sorry, I say, as he cleans up my mess. His job is to dump the fruit into barrels and return the empty buckets back down the rope to the orchard. Must be some book, he says. I clutch your library book close. It is. Oh, close, sorry. It is. It's about Paddleship Captain Hudson. Name sounds familiar. He's the buck who kept all the passengers from starving when they were stranded on the ocean for 2 months. Oh yeah, that guy. Tilly doesn't really care about the history of famous centres, but he humors my interest. After that, he sets up a conservation fund and hunted down the Leviathan poachers. Sounds like an idiot. You think he'd never want to go back on the ocean, Tilly says, pulling a mallet out of one of his saddlebags. His bags. He collects everything and gets rid of nothing. And of course, the idiot has to carry all of it around with him. Some of it is in the pockets of his bodice. As he says, he likes to keep the important stuff close to his chest. 6 saddlebags are slung across the equine part of his body, over his bardin. The bardin itself is as ordinary and plain as center clothing can be. Just a simple fabric draped over the length of his body, hanging down about knee length. Practical? Yes. Stylish? No. My bardin, however, has sunflowers printed on it, and flows in the breeze. My bodice matches my yellow hair beads. I love the colour because of how good it looks against my dark complexion. Practical? Yes. Stylish? Absolutely. The book actually talks about that. I flipped to find the section again. It talks about how he struggled with nightmares and stuff, and it was actually the rocking motion of the water helped him calm down. Tilly shakes his head. I'd rather be compost than go out on a boat. Cool.
So,
Thank you very much, Willow.
So that's it. All right. So, general feedback is fine. Happy to hear your thoughts. But one of the things I got to thinking while writing this. So, coming up, they are going to meet. You guys have met Randall before. He is a boat enthusiast. He just moved to the country from living on the coast, and he hates being in a landlocked place, and he is kind of trapped. And so it is kind of seafaring meets farmer kind of a thing. And one thing I thought would be really good is if Shalita was scared of the water. I've already decided, but she can't swim. Her interest is more in like the history, and she's just finding this stuff really interesting. But in actuality, she is scared of water, and I'm not quite sure how to change the tone or to move, because it's been kind of I'm hoping it comes off like more of a calm, kind of cheerful conversation, and then I want like maybe it goes into like the horrors of water or the fears of water, and I'm not quite sure how to naturally change that from like somebody's life story to a personalized fear. So any ideas you might have, also if any like examples of fear of water or something, fear of the depths, or, would be helpful kind of thing.
I have an idea for that. Have you ever thought of maybe looking at other people's personal experiences talking about that? Maybe they wrote a book on it. You can maybe check out Amazon or something, or maybe you can just do like a Google search, and maybe people may express how they feel about their personal experiences. Is you can use that as reference.
Yes, absolutely. That is something that I do. I have not actually researched that particular thing of yet. I've been doing a lot of research on DID and the history of paddle boats and how paddle boats operate and work. So the fear of the water is something a bit more recent, and I haven't had an opportunity. But yes, you are right. That is kind of best places to go research. Was it clear that we are in a non-human world, or was the world building clear? The
Is there a way to go back and scroll and read it on our own so we can go over the material?
Yeah, the PDF is in the.
Oh,
It is?
it's in the
Okay,
chat.
I'm sorry. I'm new to this.
The link is.
Don't mind me.
No worries. Yeah, so it's just about your message in the chat.
Oh gosh, I hope no one's waiting on me. I'm just going to take my time and read
Mhm.
this on the. I'll come back. Okay, you just
No
continue your
worries.
discussion. Sorry.
No worries. Dan, do you have any feedback?
Sorry, I had to step away. I kind of missed some of that.
No worries. I think we only read a page and a bit. Okay, I will try and come up with some feedback. Hmm. I think because you're used to screenwriting, that you can tell that it's less wordy. There's less description around certain things. So, sorry, I'm sweating over here. The sun is shining right on me. So I kind of like going from the beginning. I kind of want to know, what he's achieving as he walks around the walking wheel. Like I want to know what this pulley system is doing. Oh, actually, right now we're using a pulley system. I don't know. I feel like it could be described a bit better. I feel like that's right. I'm also rubbish at prose for the same reason. Let's say, yeah, unfortunately, reviewing prose is not my strong point.
Actually, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right that it's a problem I have with no matter what kind of writing I do. That it's not descriptive enough, or I am an underwriter. I don't write enough. I think that the concept I've written enough to make the concept clear, but I have not. I am much more, not quite minimalist, but I am a really bad underwriter. So no,
I mean, I'm the
that
same
is a
too. That's why I went into screenwriting.
exactly.
I have to
Yep.
admit, I'm a little confused about where I am. You're going into the description and you're in something, but I don't know exactly where I am in this world. Does that make sense? I'm a little confused.
Okay. Okay.
Is there a way to gosh, I mean, I'm like the Kyle calling the Kyle Black. I mean, I'm very dyslexic, and this is like something that I'm kind of just jumping back into because I'm having difficulty with the more technical aspects of CGI. So I'm like, well, I want to, get back to my creativity somehow. But I have a lot of trouble with the technical aspects of grammar. So please keep that in mind. I'm going totally by an intuitive sense of what I'm feeling from reading this instead of actual practical technical application that you can apply to it. So please take all that in mind, take it with a grain of salt. But what I'm feeling from reading this is I'm a little disoriented because I don't know where I am. Is there a way to bring description of the setting of the world that I'm in before perhaps you go into the explanation of what's happening to the character, or at least put it in there somewhere in the story. And I can't tell you how to do it because I'm kind of going back in and trying to reteach myself how to do this, which is quite an experiment to see if I can. But I'm just good from the intuitive sense. That's what I'm feeling. Is that helpful at all?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
100%. It is alluded to several times. They are on a farm in the rural countryside.
Okay, let me read that again because I did not catch that, but maybe it's just me.
They're working at a storage house above an orchard.
Okay.
So they're on their family's their herd's family farm. So no, I definitely have issues, and I need to add more description.
Yeah, I didn't quite grasp that that's what was happening. But it's interesting what you're doing, and you are explaining the situation a little bit and what's going on, with the details of the character, the physical, like what we're seeing. But I'm not quite. I'm getting more kind of like the character is separate from the world itself. Besides the act, I'm not painting a picture in my mind's eye of that.
All right, so you think it helped to see more of the backdrop?
Yeah, to know where we are in the scene, and then we'll know why maybe the pulleys are being pulled. But I mean, I'm not anyone to give anyone technical advice on writing. So like I said, this is an experiment for me to see how far I can take this. So again, take my words with a grain of salt and realize I'm looking at this and experience this from an intuitive perspective. Does that make sense? I'm not, again, not technical at all. So take that into consideration.
So a point about that, you haven't given anything technical. Everything has been more from an audience point of view. So a little bit about us.
Exactly.
Joel Dan and myself, we are all more we do more screenwriting. We don't do it's kind of prose narrative writing.
Uh-huh.
And so people come in and say, well, I don't know screenwriting. I don't know if I can give any opinions. The truth is, if you have ever watched a movie, ever seen a TV show, if you have ever known entertainment, or then you are fully qualified to give whatever advice, because it is important from a writer to be able to communicate their vision to their audience. So you don't need to know any of the technical stuff. You just need
That's
to
good
know.
because I don't know any of it.
Right.
That's
Oh.
good. Yeah, thank you for letting me know.
That's why your advice is invaluable as our target. We want to entertain people, and if it's not entertaining, if it's not understandable, then we know we have work to do. So your point of view is valuable.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah, absolutely, very good point, Willow. I'm a screenwriter because I am rubbish at describing things. So but yeah, feedback is feedback. We have some people who come who are amazing at feedback, and for others, it's a skill they still need to learn. Because giving feedback in and of itself is a skill. Sometimes it can come across like some people give feedback and it sounds harsh, or some people give feedback and it's vague. So yeah, my point is, giving feedback is a skill that needs to be worked on. So that's fine. Yeah. Dan, I can't remember if you said you were reading Willows or not. I don't think he's there. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I can be much help, unfortunately.
I'm not.
Yeah, thanks.
One of my issues is trying to figure out how to go in tone from just two teenagers working together, mundane, that it's mundane work and they're chit-chatting about history, to then go into something fearful, to change the narrator. Okay, that's nothing. Was it confusing at all? We're switching back and forth between the world that we're in, Shalita and her farm life, versus we're also talking about this historical figure that she's reading a biography about. Was that any confusing, or did that make sense when we were like the two things?
From what I've heard, tone is one of the hardest things to sort out. You certainly wouldn't be working on it in like your first draft, because it is sort of it will change over time as you write your project, and it will be something that is one of the last things you'll work on in a project, because as you write, your tone will almost always be different. And so, when you're on your final draft, you'll sort of be smoothing that out and trying to make it more even overall. So I would say don't worry about the tone right now, because that's one of the hardest points, and it will almost certainly change repeatedly. So yeah, I would say don't worry about tone right now. I hope you heard all that.
I did. I did. I may choose to ignore you.
That's right. I'm ignoring the advice I was given to.
It's probably really, really good advice. Mm,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. As with all feedback, you can take it or leave it. That's fine. I won't be offended. Yeah.
yeah, it's hard when you need to get inside of a character's head and understanding what they're thinking and feeling about a specific situation. But me myself, I'm not actually feeling those things. I'm anyway.
Cool. Thanks for submitting it. Yeah. I don't know if anyone has anything they want to submit. If not, we can go into the secondary purpose of this group, or one of them anyway. Yeah, let's just open up the floor again, and if no one has anything, we'll move on.
Actually, I have a question. You're saying that you're script writers, and this is about script writing instead of novel writing. So I'm a
Yeah, well, people do both. This is called this is WordCamp. There's a sister group called Script Camp, which is specific to screenwriting.
okay, yeah, because I was a little confused because if it was script writing, then I thought you'd have the character name and then have their dialogue and then set scene and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I was a little confused.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody.
Oh, no,
I'm
you're not
nice.
at all. You're not at all. Yeah, this is so we have two workshops that run the same time every week. So we have Mrs. Disability in Fiction on WordCamp, where we focus on novel writing, but look at other stuff as well. And then next week we'll be back on Script Camp, and we'll be looking at screenwriting, and it's the same time each week. Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. British time.
Okay, do you mean this particular group?
Yeah.
Is always
so,
at this time? Okay, I
Yeah.
usually have another class that I have with my teacher, so I will sometimes
Okay.
be here and sometimes I won't be here. But
No
yeah,
worries. But yeah. Let me see if I can get a writing prompt.
Oh,
And what we'll do is we will. Winnow has a theory that if we stay in one group together, then while we write, it's more likely to get done. So again, try it. I'm just going to try and get this image, which won't.
out of curiosity, does this have closed caption where you can see what people are saying and read? What,
I really wish
if
it
you have
did.
difficulty hearing them?
I
Yeah,
really
that'd
wish
be
it
really
did.
useful.
Yes. I'm sorry. Discord does not have that for whatever stupid reason.
we were actually talking about that exact thing not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish it did.
That doesn't surprise me. I have a tendency to pick up on things like that.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
do
I
I.
could really use it.
Yes, I agree. I petition Discord
Yeah, I don't know why Discord won't just add it. There are a couple of Discord bots that allow you to do that, but none of them are particularly good. And they seem to be particularly bad with my voice as well. I'm trying to get a...
So I just want to clarify. So this group is basically any kind of basically a fictional writing. Then you have scripts and novels and whatever you're working on.
We try to prioritize novels here and like move scripts to next week where possible, just because we have, you know, we have a whole group just for scripts.
Is it the same time or?
Yeah, same time.
Okay.
Same time next week. Right, so it's taken me a ridiculous amount of time to get this stupid image up.
Is there a way to like, is this recorded where we can watch it afterwards and then add commentary afterwards? Because I got a class simultaneously as this group is that I have to be in.
I mean, we wouldn't see it probably. You can watch it back on YouTube.
Okay.
Give me a second.
And then can I just come back in and come into the chat room and make commentary if I wanted to after the fact?
Should be able to. View.
Yeah, so the video is posted on YouTube, and you can still access this chat. I kind of wanted to clarify something about us being screenwriters and such. Script Camp is the original part of the skill camp. I guess subsidiaries, I don't know. Anyway, that is a fairly big server. It has multiple classes and workshops and teachers and all kinds of stuff regarding script writing. And so this is kind of it's so there's not a whole lot of activity, but we are trying to create more activity with WordCamp. So that is why you may see more screenwriters in here. We are trying to build this and trying to expand our skill set.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't being critical. I was just curious on, you know, what you do here. And I was curious if I could access it when it isn't live.
Yeah.
So I could participate later by, you know, throwing my 2 cents in if anyone was interested afterwards. Because I've got, like I said, another session at this time.
Yeah, we have disability chat both here and on Script Camp, so you can comment in there as well. And that will just mean it's more likely that other people will see it. Next week we'll be on Script Camp once again. So there's the link also in chat. And the link just above that is where we are on YouTube right now. And that's available for you to see immediately.
Okay, so I
click
on the interested, and then is that how I get in there?
If you click interested, then you'll get notified when the event starts next week.
Okay. Well, like I said, I probably cannot attend because this is the only time my tutor is available.
No
so
worries.
is there? Yeah, I'm just like, where's your? Are you putting the YouTube link up?
So there's a YouTube video there, which is today's session, and then you'll be able to go onto the channel, and you'll be able to see all future classes that we do, including other workshops that happen, and other classes. Yeah.
Somehow I have gotten out of the main screen, and I don't know how to get.
Let me see if I can help you.
Back. Like I said, I'm new to this.
Yeah, Discord is not the most user-friendly platform, that is for sure. Did you see a red notification bubble?
I am still trying to. I opened up somehow introduce yourself. And how do you close these windows? Any
Don't worry about
advice
closing
on
introduce
that?
yourself. Just move over so you see where it's got the tag yourself and stuff. Just scroll down that list and you'll come to disability workshop.
I'm not seeing it.
Just keep scrolling down.
I see disability chat.
A little bit
Not
further
workshop.
down. Almost. Just a bit more.
Okay.
It's
I'm
near
sorry.
disability
I am
chat.
not seeing it. Huh?
It's near disability chat. It's just a little bit further down. Not far. Are you in WordCamp, yes?
I am trying. I can hear you, but I can't get back to the main screen.
Yeah. Can you see a red little circle?
Yes.
Yeah. See where that takes you.
Ah, that worked. Thank you. Well,
No
it's definitely
worries.
easier than mine. Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, so can you see the chat on the right hand side where it says
I do now. Yeah. So that's at the YouTube link.
just about it with the red bar next to it, yeah.
Red bar next to it.
So scroll up just a little bit.
I see a picture where it says disability screenwriting free.
And then just a little bit up above that.
A little bit more up. Okay. I'll get there. Hold on. Nope, still not seeing it. Oh, YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
With okay, with the guys in the wheelchairs.
Oh, not quite that one, but the link just below it, yeah.
Is that the link?
The link,
Is that
yeah.
the link?
YouTube.com, yes.
The guy in the wheelchairs is the writing prompt for us to practice describing, not actually a link.
Okay, so the YouTube underneath it is the actual link.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Ah, got it. I got it. Thank you. Sorry for all that.
No worries. So yeah, that will show you this session, and you'll be able to watch it back in case you missed anything. But also that whole YouTube channel is where you'll be able to see future stuff and past stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right then.
Oh, okay, so this is live. Oh, that's nice to know.
Yes. Just for the
Good to know.
last 15 minutes or so, let's just work together in silence as we do our picture prompt. I would recommend you doing it now so that you have more chance of getting coins. And yeah, the deadline for this will be in 2 weeks, but if you start now, then it's one less thing on your to-do list. We're looking for anything preferably in prose, but we'll allow other formats as well. You can do focus on either of these characters, or you can do both. It's up to you. And yeah, not much more rules than that.
So let me get this straight. We're to look at the picture and we're supposed to write our opinion on it, basically. What we
So
feel
writing
is
a
happening
story.
in the
A story, so it can be a short story, it might just be a couple scenes, or what's actually happening in that picture. You can, it's pretty much free reign, not your opinion, but more story, or part of the story.
Okay, is there a way to know what that's being referenced from?
And you
Or
shouldn't need
is
to
it
know.
just
This is just a creative writing exercise, so just using your imagination. Oh, they're
okay?
playing wheelchair basketball. I'm not sure if that's what you
I thought
meant.
it was basketball. Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. Okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I thought you meant like the website where I got a picture and we're like, yeah, what? Yeah.
I
Yeah, so we'll just do this to finish this off. Oh no, we can't hear you. Thank you all very much for joining us this week in Disability in Fiction. We will be back next week in Script Camp to look at disability in screenwriting. We hope you'll be able to join us there as we continue looking at disabled characters. And we hope we'll see you again in your next Script Camp or WordCamp event.